Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So this is video number 4, not 8, 4 in my mental health series. So let's just get right into it. The topic of this video is how I got clean. I think that's very relevant to mental health. I'm not going to get into any debates or anything like that. I'm just going to state my opinions and how I got clean. So I hope that this video can help a struggling addict out there, or even a recovering addict, or whoever needs the help. So we're gonna start with how I got clean off of heroin. So this is a good one. So it was June of 2017 when I got clean off of heroin. So I'm gonna kind of lead you up to the events that happened this day. So I was with a guy. I had been with this guy for 4 years at the time. He was a total a-hole, and we were very, very toxic for each other. So at this point, we had moved to California. I wish. We had moved to North Carolina. We moved in with some of my family out there, and we were living out there together. So when we moved there, we didn't bring all of our stuff at once. We brought just enough stuff because we were addicts and I was kicked out of my house and we just cared about getting high. So when we moved out there, we only brought about a quarter of our stuff. So in June, we had to go back to PA to grab the rest of our stuff. So we had been clean from when we moved out there, which everything is so foggy at this point because I was so strung out on drugs. I have pretty much no idea what was going on at this time. I remember bits and pieces. Fellow drug addicts, you feel me, right? So, we had been clean from whenever we moved out there until June, which was not a long time, but it was something. So we drove back to PA to get our stuff. The first stop we made was in Philadelphia, and we got high. The day was awful. We were fighting all day long. We had gotten into a couple of fist fights. We were beating the crap out of each other. It was just very bad. I went to go visit my family, but I was completely strung out. They didn't want me there. It was a bad situation. So we decided to drive back to North Carolina that same day. It's a 7-hour drive. And honestly, it was not a drive we should have been doing. Neither one of us were sober. We were very, very messed up. And we were fighting non-stop. And I mean, we were getting into like fist fights at this point. So it was just a bad situation all around. But we started making the drive. So that night, we made the drive. And we were about halfway when we really, really started to get on each other's nerves. And I was driving and I kicked him out of the car. I would go pick him up, mile down the street, half a mile down the street, and then he'd get back in the car, we'd start fighting again and kick him out. We had stopped at a truck stop because we were very, very tired. We were driving through the night. We were very messed up on heroin and crack and God knows what else we got that day. And it was bad. We stopped at the truck stop, we started fighting, and I remember the thought going through my head, if we can just get back to North Carolina, we will not fight anymore, because we did not fight at all when we were in North Carolina. Yeah, okay. So at this point, we're still fighting, and the next thing I know is the car is crashing. So from what I understand is we were fighting, he took the wheel, or he pushed me or something. I lost control of the car. I was driving. I was the one charged with reckless endangerment or reckless driving, whatever it's called, because I was behind the wheel, and that sucks. So we got into an accident. We rolled 3 times. Luckily for us, in the middle of the night, some lady was driving down the same highway and stopped and called 911. We got taken to the hospital. We were both in the ICU in trauma. We were both very, very banged up. I'm not going to get into my injuries or anything like that, or his injuries, because it's just a lot to handle. I still don't like talking about it, and I'm not ready to share that kind of stuff with the world. Not yet. So we were very, very banged up, and at that point, when we got into the hospital, when I woke up in that hospital bed, and I had a neck brace on, and I had no idea where I was or what was going on, I knew I needed to get clean. I had police come in and talk to me. I gave them my story of what happened. I obviously didn't say that there was any drug use or whatnot, so I kind of got away lucky with that. there was no real other consequences other than I got very banged up and I had reckless driving charges and I had to go to court, whatever. I got very lucky that there was nothing more serious. So when I got back to North Carolina, I took a bus from the hospital back to North Carolina once I was healed up enough to leave, and I got discharged. The hospital paid for a bus ticket for me as long as I left my then boyfriend, which I left him. I left his ass in the hospital in Virginia. He had no intentions of getting clean or being clean, and I knew I needed a better life for myself, and I do not regret that. It was very hard to do. I got to see him one time before I left, and I vividly remember chasing after a taxi cab that he was in because we were both somehow discharged on the same day. So that was hard, but I made it back to North Carolina and I stopped doing drugs. So how I got clean, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but I am a huge believer in medical marijuana working for someone who is a recovering addict. It worked for me. I started smoking pretty regularly throughout the day. I had like specific times that I would smoke, and I wouldn't necessarily get, super stoned and whatever, but I would smoke, and that was enough to help me with any lingering withdrawals. It was enough to help me stay, it completely changed my outlook on life. It completely changed my mood, and it kept me focused on becoming a better person. I got a job, I started going back to school, I got my GED, and I was doing absolutely amazing, and I was staying clean off of heroin. So when I say that I'm clean off of heroin, I'm clean off of meth, I am clean off of cocaine, I am clean off of every drug that you can take, but I do smoke weed. I'm just putting that out there. That is my medicine. Now, of course, I don't take it to the extremes, I will smoke weed, in the morning or at night before I go to bed, whatever. It does not make me a bad mom. If anything, it makes me a better mom. It helps me in the same way that taking Wellbutrin every day does, without the nasty side effects that Wellbutrin gives me. So hate if you want, hate if you don't. It is completely legal in the state of Michigan. I do it completely legally. That is what has kept me clean off of, hard drugs. I'm not saying that weed is not a drug. It is a drug. You have to be careful. You have to know your limits. It does not work for every recovering drug addict. So do not think that, just because this girl, smokes a ton of weed and she stays off of everything else, or she can have a couple drinks here and there and she doesn't turn into a full-blown alcoholic. Sorry, I stuttered. That does not mean specifically for you that is going to work. That is what has worked for me. I am who I am. I am doing a pretty damn good job in my life right now. So any hate can be taken elsewhere. That's all I'm going to say about that. And that is how I got clean off of heroin. So similar story when I got clean off of meth 7 or 8 months ago, whenever that was. I haven't kept real good track because I don't want to do meth every day anymore. So it's just something that I've never really felt the need to keep track of, is exactly how many days clean I have, or how many months clean or whatever. So when I got clean off of meth, basically I put myself into the IOP group and I started smoking a ton of pot again. I had my specific times during the day that I smoked. It helped me have a good outlook on life. It made the withdrawals bearable. It made me not want to go kill myself. And that is how I got clean off of meth. I want to mention, I do go through stages where I don't smoke because for some reason I go through, months where my mental health is in tip-top shape and I don't need any medication. I don't need anything. But then there are times, specifically like throughout the winter, or, specific times of the years that are hard for me. That's when I utilize marijuana as my medicine to help me, cope with my mental illnesses. So again, say whatever you want, but this is what has worked for me. And it may not work for you, but it worked for me, and I hope that this helps somebody out there. That's how I got clean from heroin and meth. Good old Mary Jane helped me get clean. If you liked this video, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit like, hit the notification bell so you can get notifications when I release a new video. As previously stated in one of my other videos, I am going to try to have a pretty regular routine of posting Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. No specific times on those days, but those days I will for sure be posting a video. Also, the last video in this series is going to be a question and answers. So if you could leave some questions in the comments or follow me on Instagram at DA_babymama and DM me some comments. I'm going to post one of those ask your question things on my story so you guys can check that out. Please do not be rude. This takes a lot to put my life out there and to share with you guys things that I do on a daily basis or how I cope with things or things that I've gone through in my past. I get a lot of hate on the daily from people that I know or even people that don't know me but know someone I'm friends with or know my fiance or whatever. I don't need any hate on the internet. I know I'm gonna get it and those hate comments or questions will be ignored. So please try to keep it as respectful as possible. This is a safe, respectful area and I don't want anybody, any of my subscribers, any of my followers, anybody to feel any type of way. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be on the lookout for the question and answers video and also be on the lookout for my next series, which I have yet to decide what the series will actually be. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.